Welcome filmmakers, fans, and friends to the all-new Indie Cinema Showcase. I'm Matt Doolittle.
And I'm Allison Walter. Together, we're going to bring you the best and brightest in local independent cinema.
On today's show, we go for a little legal advice with Scott Goldberg from the law firm of Hetz, Jones, and Goldberg to talk to him about what filmmakers should think about before starting a project. We will also take a look at P207 Productions' newest trailer, I Did. Then later on in the show, we'll visit the Dave School at Universal Studios as they film the 3D short, Nazi Robots.
All right, let's get things started with our Show Us Your Shorts film. This one is set in a war-torn future where an American captive is on the run after escaping an enemy prison camp. The film is entitled Captive and is directed by Andy Painter.
Tvoja mať duka. Tvoja mať duka.
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста, пожалуйста. Да.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Captive, directed by Andy Painter. Now, with each episode, we like to give our own thoughts from the popcorn gallery and offer feedback about the films we showcase. To help us with this, we've invited some industry guests who have worked in the field, from fellow actors, producers, and directors. Our very own Christina Carmona is in the ICS viewing room. So let's check in with her and see what they thought about Captive. Christina?
Thanks, Allison. I'm here at the beautiful Enzion Theater in Maitland, and joining me on the panel, I have Corey Stibe, Dennis Jacino, and Alan Pascal. So, we just watched Captive. I think it was a really great film, especially with the lack of dialogue. What did you guys think?
I think it was really well done. Cinematography, camera work, sound, everything came together all in one shot and really worked. It definitely stood out from your average sci-fi film. A lot of mystery going on in it. So.
What about you, Dennis?
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. It was shot well. There's only so much you can say about such a great film, the way it was shot, the way it was done. Personally, it's just, I'm a fan of it. Just watching it was definitely, I enjoyed it a lot.
Alan?
I thought it was a great film, and there was great props, and couldn't even believe it was shot locally here.
I know.
So when you look at something like that, you think, wow, this is a great big budget film, but in reality, really simple, great use of what equipment we had.
So what do you guys think about the fact that there was really no dialogue, and the fact that when we did have dialogue, it was in a different language and we couldn't understand? Personally, I think that if you can tell a story without saying anything, that takes a lot of skill.
As an actor, I think that's one of the most powerful things, to be able to speak without speaking. To me, that's to convey, because I'm one of those actors as well. Sometimes my dialogue can, you know what I mean? So for me to convey that, you know, that acting, that emotion, and really get it, and I'm a big fan of actually seeing films that are not in English, because it's more intriguing. I really dive into it, because now you get to see their world.
Absolutely.
And dive into the character.
Absolutely, and to be able to tell a story without dialogue, it just shows you that you don't necessarily need a full script of something to tell a story. All right, guys, well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining me on the panel.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
All right, so from the Enzion, back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. To learn more about Andy Painter, visit his website at vintagestudios.net. When we come back from the break, we'll be going to law school with Scott Goldberg and checking out P207 Productions' newest trailer. So stick around.
Welcome back to ICS. Our next guest has been practicing law for over 13 years. From film to television, music, and everything in between, he makes sure all of his clients cross their T's and dot their I's. So for this episode's Industry Insight segment, we're very happy to have with us entertainment attorney Scott Goldberg. Thanks for being here, Scott.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
So what got you into entertainment law?
Entertainment law, well, I'm one of those people that in college, of course, trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do in my life. And I wanted to be a rock star, pretty much like everybody else. Couldn't play any instruments, couldn't sing.
So that cuts that out.
Yeah, you got to figure out what's the next best thing? Represent those who can. So literally, that's why I went to law school, to work in the entertainment industry. From law school, I went on to get my master's of law degree in intellectual property, which involves copyright law and trademark law, which is very helpful for artists and entertainers. And from there, I moved to Orlando probably around 99, 2000, and got my teeth cut with a great project to work on. We, in a small firm that I worked for, we helped out the guys who made the Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
so that
okay.
was one of the first movies that I got to work on. And from there, it was just, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to help independent filmmakers, producers of television shows, musicians, authors of books, anybody, artists, anybody in the entertainment industry.
Wow, that's pretty great. What are some of the biggest mistakes that people make coming into a project with a film, say, and they come to you and they need your help? What are some of the things that they're doing wrong?
Well, a lot of the times they just don't have their business structure in place. They had the screenplay that they probably want to make into a film, but they don't have maybe proper copyrights in order. They don't have their contracts in place with their business partners. And those are things that you need up front. And if you're raising money, which a lot of independent filmmakers do, they raise money from private individuals, there are certain documents that go along with that. So a lot of the time, people start making films without those contracts, those agreements in place, not where people don't even know what their role is in the film. They're just working on the project. And then they'll come to me and say, hey, we have this movie, it's already been shot. Okay, well, of course the ultimate goal is to get distribution. You're gonna need this contract, do you have this? Probably not. Did you file for your proper copyrights? Probably not. Did you take money from investors? Probably not. So usually they don't understand that it's a good idea to go to people that can actually help you, get you in order. Might spend a little money, of course, but they'll help you get you in order so you don't have to spend a lot of money later on. All those things that I just mentioned are going to be necessary for any distribution company that's going to release your film project.
When a script is finally written, when they're ready to go, should they go with the Writers Guild or with the U.S. Copyright Office? What's the difference, and which one should they go with?
Well, as an attorney, I always advise my client, the main one to focus on is on the Copyright Office. You want to register your screenplay with the Copyright Office. If you register it with the WGA, that's fine. All they're going to really do is take your script for a fee, and then they're going to file it away with a date timestamp on it. Mm-hmm. You want to file with the Copyright Office because that will afford you with much more protection under the copyright laws. For example, when you file with the Copyright Office on time, as long as you do it in a timely fashion, you get things like what they call statutory damages. Rather than having to prove your actual damages, the judge will award per infringement between $750 all the way up to $30,000. You don't have to prove actual damages. It is by law one of those statutory damages. You can get your attorney's fees paid if you win the case as well. If it's a willful infringement, you can get up to $150,000. So again, it's very important. Once you create a screenplay, you are the copyright owner, but it is still very important to have it filed with the Copyright Office. That's my main focus, always get my clients to do with the Copyright Office.
And does that whole thing where you mail it to yourself and with the
Right.
stamp on it from the post office, does that work or no?
That's what they commonly refer to as the poor man's copyright. Yep. It doesn't do anything for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it might give you a post office stamp on that as well as the date on that, but any good attorney can pick that apart. Hey, you steamed open the envelope and then you inserted it. Who knows what was really there? But again, it does not give you the extra benefits of filing with the U.S. Copyright Office, which is what everybody should be doing. And it's fairly cheap too, that's to file anyways.
I know you mentioned low budgets and things like that. There's so much happening now in Florida film that's no budget and very, very low and no pay to the actors, is what I mean by that. Do you still need contracts with your actors that aren't being paid? I know I've done a lot of films for no pay, there's no contract, and later on there's questions of like, well, what if we do start making money on this? What's best to have in mind for that?
Personally, as an attorney, I say yes. Everybody needs contracts, even if it's what they call nominal pay. Like they'll put on the contract, like I said, you need consideration, so maybe $1 or $10. Whatever the case may be, you still need something in writing. It is very important to make sure ownership lies with the producer, the production company that is making that picture. So whether you're paying people or not, you still need contracts. You might not think you do, but it's very, very important to keep the ownership with you, and then when you're ready for distribution, to give it to a distributor.
Well, real quick,
Sure.
There's been a lot of business talk. What's the most fun part about your job? What do you like to do?
The most fun part for me, honestly, it's just really being a part of it. Again, I'm a big fan. First, I'm a big fan of music. I love music, and then that's what got me into the job that I'm doing now. But I also love film, and I also love TV. I like being a part of it. I like when my clients are actually out there producing and shooting on locations or in a sound stage or whatever, just being on set, watching it, how everything is created. I just enjoy the whole project. I like helping out independent filmmakers as well. So.
Well, Scott, thanks for being here. Thanks for being the nicest attorney I've ever met.
Thank you very much for having me here.
And if you're looking for any legal advice in the entertainment industry, check out Scott Goldberg of the law firm Hetz, Jones & Goldberg at their website, hetzandjones.com.
As Scott heads back to his office, we'll be taking a break. But don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll check out the latest trailer from P207 Productions and also travel to the backlots of Universal Studios to visit the Dave School and their latest project. So stay tuned.
If you would like to be a guest, have something to promote, or have your film featured on our show, please visit our website, IndieCinemaShowcase.com, and download the release form, or email us at icstv@yahoo.com. Welcome back to Indie Cinema Showcase. Dave is a man unhappy with his marriage and is desperately seeking out any form of escape. But this unhappiness plants a seed of doubt, jealousy, and suspicion with his wife. It all comes to a head over the course of a single night as their marriage crumbles beneath them. So for this episode's feature, we bring you writer-director Chase Caldwell's first feature-length film called I Did. Let's check it out.
What's her name?
What?
The new girl at work. The one that looks like I did. What's her name?
Well, sometimes
Did you have wine?
I think that you...
Oh, are we having the conversation about who pays for what around here now? Are we actually having that conversation?
I'm having it.
Till there's nothing left.
It's an old machine, Anna. It is what it is. Buy a new one.
No, I mean today. Did you have wine today?
That is half true. And besides, we put money in one already. One party
Why
is
are we
going to
having
be
this
fine.
conversation? Look at it.
There's no Big Bang. There's no Big Bang.
It's a pretty name.
You don't think it's a pretty name?
Just want to do something different.
Now it's time for our final segment we call On Location with ICS. In this episode, we visit the backlots of Universal Studios where the Dave School is working on some new 3D technology cameras. Let's check it out.
And action.
The Dave School has three separate primary disciplines that we train in.
We provide 3D modeling training, we provide 3D animation training, and then visual effects training. The stereoscopic work that we're doing encompasses all of those areas, from modeling, animation, and then visual effects. So in our fourth and final block, the students are learning how to take all of the 3D knowledge that they've gained, all of the animation knowledge gained, the visual effects knowledge they've gained, and then combine that in a stereoscopic 3D package.
Well, this is a really exciting project. I've done a lot of work with the Dave School over the years, and what we're doing here is, because of the advent of 3D TV, the Dave School is taking advantage of that. And whereas before the school has produced some original 3D animation content, now they're doing 3D live action and adding 3D special effects and CG stereoscopic elements on top. So this is the first production where we're actually doing native 3D stereoscopic, we always have to say that, 3D stereoscopic production, and then we're going to, the students, as part of one of their projects, every quarter they do a project, they're going to be adding in the special effects and rig removals, and we're having these Nazi robots, which are really, really cool. And the Nazi robots come, and that will be all CG they add in. But they have to track it not only one lens, but two, since we're doing stereoscopic.
We brought out Doug Stanley for this shoot, and he is an acclaimed director of photography and an expert in stereoscopic 3D. He was the perfect person that we needed for this shoot that allows us to expand our existing stereoscopic 3D capabilities and gain a wider recognition for what the school is doing in terms of stereo 3D in its education.
My company, Ridgeline Entertainment, and another company called N4D has brought together all of our 3D equipment and technology to come out and assist them with this project. Specifically, this project is to train the stereographers of the future, those who are going to be working in 3D. The reason that Ridgeline came here today is to help teach some of their students about 3D, because there's a tremendous need for workers who understand stereoscopic 3D to create the programming that's needed for both film and television for the future.
We've seen great advancements in terms of film, television, and video games moving towards stereoscopic 3D. This has been a major market shift for us, and we are now on the forefront, and we believe we are the world's leading school in training students for a career in stereoscopic 3D. This shoot that we're currently doing out here at Universal Studios is one of our ways to show the world and our students that we're committed to stereo 3D training.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of ICS. We want to thank Scott Goldberg for stopping by and hanging out with us, as well as filmmaker Andy Painter and Chase Caldwell.
We hope you learned something new, saw something that you loved, or got inspired to get off your couch and go make a movie of your own. Who knows? It might be good enough for us to screen on the next Indie Cinema Showcase.
Until then, the set is closed, and as they say in the business, that's a wrap. We'll see you next time.